This episode of The Tales Behind the Talent is sponsored by Avain Language Services. If you need proofreading of English texts, translations between Swedish, English and Finnish, or private teaching in Swedish and English, please do not hesitate to contact avainservices@gmail.com. Hello, dear listener, and welcome to the third episode, a third interview of The Tales Behind the Talent. And this time my guest is Jussi Sauvola, and I'm actually gonna let him introduce himself a little bit. So there you go.
Well, hello everyone. As Muksu mentioned, my name is Jussi Sauvola. I'm a keyboardist, playing bands such as Catamenia and Verikalpa. I've been doing so for quite a few years. So thanks for having me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're really welcome. So, how did you get introduced to music? How did it happen for you?
Well, my background is not the usual musician's beginnings, so to speak, since there really haven't been that many musicians in my family from my mother's or my father's side. And my mother is not big on music in any way, so she doesn't listen to it that much. But I think I got introduced to music by my brother and my friends. And I've always loved music. I think it started with much musical scores from films, and of course the basic metalheads beginnings, pop and techno, rap and stuff like that. So that was what my brother listened. So yeah, I loved to listen to music, but there wasn't that much music in the household.
Okay, so you already mentioned what kind of music was my next guest. So it was pop and rap, not necessarily metal, which you play today yourself. But what point did you start to think that music would be something you would yourself like to do someday in the future?
Well, I was in very late in high school. I think it was me and my friend Joni Säkkinen. We decided that we wanted to be rock stars, just like that. So it was a mutual decision, and we started to think about the instruments what we would like to play. And at that moment, we were introduced to Dimmu Borgir, and we saw the I think it was World Misanthropy was the VHS that I got, and we checked it out many times, and we wanted the rock and roll lifestyle. And since I always loved musical scores, stuff like that, I really felt drawn to keyboards.
Okay.
The musical atmosphere that it can create. And Mustis from Dimmu Borgir was a really big influence for me. And my friend Joni Säkkinen, he just decided, okay then, I'll start playing the guitar then. So.
Okay.
That was it.
So you decided that, so I'm gonna play this. Okay.
Yeah.
So what year was this approximately?
Well, the timelines are a bit sketchy at this moment.
Okay.
I'm an old man, so...
Yeah, it was a VHS that kind of made me interested.
Yeah. The old stuff. I think, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. Yeah, a bit early maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere around those times.
Okay. So, after you actually started playing, was there a break in your excitement about music or in your enthusiasm, or have you been excited and enthusiastic about music after that, like non-stop?
Well, I think it was the traditional case that me and Joni, we were so high on music and metal, and that I think I might have played for like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, since I wanted to learn it that bad. And it went on for quite a few years, but then came the girls, and then everything changed. The priorities started to switch a bit.
The focus was on different things.
Yeah. And I started dating around those times. She was my first girlfriend, so of course I was super enthusiastic about that. And I gave all my time to her, so it took some time for it to level out, the attraction. And then I picked up the keyboards again. And I think that was around the time that I invested in a bit more better musical equipment. I think the first actual real synthesizer was a Korg X5D, and I loved the sound so much that I got caught up in the music once again.
So did you kind of just play with it, kind of figure out what kind of sounds you can get out of it and everything like that?
Yeah, everything felt so new with that, since my first ever keyboard was a Yamaha PSR. I think it was 190. I think it was a real toy keyboard that I bought with my last money that I got from my summer job.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was really a toy, but that was one part why the enthusiasm started to drop out a bit, since it didn't sound like those cool.
Yeah, that's usually the case. Like you decide to get a cheap instrument to kind of start playing, and when you get like frustrated with the quality, you just stop. Like that happened to me with guitar, like 10 years ago when I started to play guitar again.
Yeah.
So I think the lesson here is to, if you're interested, to actually not put all your money perhaps to it, but just to put a little bit more than the bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, make a good investment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, the instruments have gone a long way since those times, so you can actually get pretty professional gear for less.
And used gear, and
absolutely.
And when you buy good gear, you can actually, it has some retail value after you use it, if you want to upgrade or if you want to stop. So that's why it's kind of, it's not cheaper, but it's more effective and more how would you say it, money efficient to buy some good gear.
Yeah, but who are we kidding? Of course, you will never sell those guitars, so you will have a wall full of them. And I still have the Korg X5D.
Okay.
And I still plug it in sometimes, just to get those cool 90s sounds.
Okay, good, cool.
Timeless classic.
So you talked about Dimmu Borgir, and I wanted to get back to that before going to actually talk about band activity. But let's go to Dimmu for a moment. So you said that Mustis was one of your kind of people that you looked up to.
Yeah, I think, but he was my first big influence.
Yeah, but what was in the music? Was it kind of that there are some orchestral elements there that resonate with your, because you said that you liked movie and film scores. Was it the same thing that you actually got intrigued by in Dimmu Borgir?
My go-to Dimmu Borgir album was the Enthroned Darkness Triumphant. Of course, it's a classic, and I think it doesn't have that many orchestrals in it. It's more of a in-your-face melodic black metal.
Okay, but it's a later on thing that they have.
I think it came in the puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. Rolls off this tongue, really, in the name. But even though it was the Enthroned Darkness Triumphant was done with real classic 90s attack-focused synth sounds, but it was still so atmospheric in a way.
Yeah.
And I loved the feeling that I got when I listened to it. And the riffs themselves in that album, they weren't that difficult to play or elaborate, but they were pretty simple and it worked. It's a great album.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with because I'm so into the symphonic and orchestral part, so I'm more focused on the newer material, but I have to check that again. Of course, I listened to the album, so from that point of view. But yeah, let's go to band activity. So, when did you first start playing with others in a band, and what kind of project was it?
Well, we started playing together with Joni, the guy who picked up the guitar and I picked up the keyboards when we were young, and we started to play together.
Yeah.
Just trying out what was it like to play together. And we started with Lourdes Would You Love a Monster and Dimmu Borgir's Morning Palace, so it was pretty varied. And we played together for a time, and of course it got a bit boring, just playing the two of us. And we actually saw it was looking for musicians. I can't remember where it was that we found. Maybe it was in Muusikoiden.net that a band called Silent Trinity was looking for a guitar player and a keyboardist.
Yeah. So
there.
basically a musicians forum in Finnish one. For foreign listeners.
Yeah,
but,
it's an old classic. It's been Muusikoiden.net has been around for years and years. So we decided to give it a go, and we went to the I don't know what's it called in English, the test place to see the koesoitot.
Yeah, like an audition.
Yeah, audition. Yeah. We went to that, and I mean, in all honesty, we weren't that good, but I don't think there was so many candidates at the time, since the band was based in Haukipudas.
Yeah.
So it's a bit remote, but eventually we got in, we trained the songs, and that's how it started.
So what kind of music was it then?
It's it's, I mean, a melodic metal. It's just it's so overused, but I think it was an accurate term for that. Something melodic goth metal, something like that. It wasn't that fast paced. It reminded me of at least the earlier songs reminded me of Sonata Arctica's first album, Ecliptica.
Okay.
It's very much like that. So you can actually find the songs in Spotify. So
what was the name?
Silent Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's there, and you can see our music videos in YouTube. So old classics there. So go check it out.
So what did it feel like to be the first time? What I'm saying, to be playing in a band for the first time.
I mean, it was so new for us, since it was our first touch into band activity. So it took some time to get used to to a live drummer. What's it like to play with, no click or no metronome and no backing tracks. It was just so honest. And Silent Trinity's music it was really hard. I mean, we had to get to the next level to play those songs. It was so melodic and so many leads there. And it took a lot of work, but it was worth it. I really liked the songs at the time.
So did you take any lessons, or did you just teach yourself by hard work?
I took lessons for a couple of months in Kemi, in the työväentalo in Rytikari, and it was just some basic stuff, some notations and fingering techniques. So basically, just the basic rudimentals.
So and it was kind of a community place.
Yeah, basically so. So I took some basic lessons, but that's it. Then I decided that I wanted to learn myself.
Okay, so have you? Of course, you are a pretty good player nowadays. You're at least pretty good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So my point was that you have, of course, since that thought that it's been as efficient to be self-taught. But what would you say to people who are kind of on the verge, like, or on the brink? Am I gonna take lessons, or am I just gonna push through it? So should everyone take some kind of lessons in synths, or should they just, if they don't feel like it at all, just push through?
I mean, technology has changed a lot since when I was a kid. Like nowadays, you can find very good tutorials in YouTube, and you can actually learn stuff by yourself. But at the time, we had books and a teacher. That's it.
Yeah.
Those two options. But do I regret not taking more lessons? Yeah. It would have been a very good
So there
idea.
wasn't like a VHS or later DVD videos about how to play synths.
I think there must have been, but you have to remember that I grew up in Kemi, so that sort of technology was not around.
Yeah, if people don't know, it's an industrial kind of city in the Sea Lapland area.
Yeah, it's called the Mordor of Finland.
Yeah, like a small place, but still comfortable to grow up in.
Yeah, a small town.
Yeah. Of course, the YouTube thing that you mentioned is like there's a lot of good tutorials nowadays for free, and that's gonna be something that makes it much easier to start actually going through tutorials, because it's free. Of course, there was libraries and everything, but it takes effort to go to a library and just start searching for tutorials and books.
Indeed. And I thought that to myself that since I played so many hours a day, I mean, I would just get better all the time. But I think if I would have taken lessons, I think my time would have been more efficient, so to speak. So it took a lot of time to learn even the basics in my own head. So if I would have had a teacher in there, it would have been much smoother.
Okay, so can you go through the process kind of nowadays, or even earlier on? So how do you self practice and keep up your skills in synth playing?
Well, I think my method of learning songs is still the same. That I try to learn a song one riff at a time, one melody at a time. So take it slow, and my head just can't process that much information. So at the one time, so I really have to take it one riff, like in a day.
So do you like slow it down first and then increase the speed and then?
Yeah. I mean, of course, since also my big influences were Jens Johansson and the Kings of Tilu at the moment. So of course I just wanted to shred fast and sound good.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a good idea when I was starting learning. So
yeah. By the way, have you listened to Children of Bodom in the kind of listen to what the synth player is playing there?
Oh yeah, that was a huge influence also for me. I remember in high school that one of my friends had the Children of Bodom's, what was it, Live in Tokyo, or what was it, War Hearts in Tokyo, something like that. It was a live CD, and I was blown away with that. It sounded so cool, and of course, after that came Follow the Reaper, Hatebreed, stuff like that. And damn, it was good. Still love those albums to this day, and. Of course, Children of Bodom isn't that easy to play with any instrument.
Yeah.
It's really challenging. But I had to give it a go, and it went to shit.
Okay.
Shit.
So it's very complicated.
I think. No, don't start with that.
Yeah.
Pro tip for all you guys there.
Yeah, even though that's the goal, to start with something else.
Yeah, indeed.
So how about first shows with the bands and your feelings about playing live, and what was the first project? Was the same project the first one that you played live shows with, or?
Yeah, it was with Silent Trinity. We were playing in Kemi in Hullu Pohjola. It was a nice bar back in the day, and I remember the gig all too well. There weren't that many people there, and we didn't play that good. I was so nervous. I can remember I was just shaking so much, and I made some really stupid mistakes. And I have a few pictures from the gig still, and you can see my eyes, they were filled with horror. So, yeah, it was actually it went so badly that I was thinking that is this my gig,
Yeah, okay.
so to speak. Am I good enough to do this thing, to be a keyboardist? So that was make it or break it after that.
But something still after that made you go and perform again.
Yeah. I just I wanted to give it a go. I mean, in rehearsals we sounded pretty damn good, and I played well there. So I thought that maybe this was just
Stage fright.
Yeah, stage fright and excitement, and I actually had to throw up before the gig since I was so
nervous. Okay.
Yeah, but the next show was in Muhos, Sarvipää Sammakko, with that band, and it went really well.
Okay.
And I felt really good about it then. I remember I was so hyped after the gig that it was then that I decided that, yeah.
Okay, this is something that I'm gonna do in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, the first publications were also with that band.
Yeah.
So, how was the process then?
Well, we were way too ambitious. We decided not to be pussies about it, and we actually made a full-length record.
With your own expense? Or?
Yeah, with our own expense, yeah. We were really broke after that, and the CD was, well, it didn't sound that good. I mean, the production was there. We did it in Masterbox Studios with Immo Ilmarinen. It was called 20th November, and like I said, it was a full-length album, and the sounds are great, but the playing ain't that great.
Okay.
So I don't think you can find it anywhere, so it's been buried in the sands of time.
So unless people don't know, but it's pretty expensive to make an album in an actual studio.
Yeah. And at the time there weren't any alternatives to that.
Yeah.
I mean, PCs weren't that evolved back then, so pretty much the only solution was to go to a studio, rent it out, and it cost a lot of money.
Nowadays what people do is that they, for example, they record drums in an actual studio, and then they might have similar setups that I do here, like a sound card and good microphones and a laptop, and then you can just play guitars, bass, and everything. But of course the best quality is in the studio, I think. But nowadays it's not necessarily that you have to go all the way in the studio. You can do some pre-production or something.
Yeah, of course you can do that, but the thing is that, I mean, even though the equipment and the technology has evolved a lot, you can do these things at home, but what you get in a studio is a actual professional who actually like hears the record in his head. What is it gonna like in the sound like in the end? So he steers you in the right direction from the very start. And what was a good take? What was a bad take? What's gonna be what's good for the guitar sound? And like if you do the whole thing in the studio, it sounds more whole, so to speak. But of course, if you know your stuff and you know production, I mean, then you might not need a studio at all.
Yeah,
you can do it all at home. So if you got the chops and the balls.
Yeah. How about increasing publicity? Like you can answer this with like you want. So it's more like uh, when did you start, or when was the first time you thought that the hard work is starting to pay off? Was it with that project, or was it with a later one, or something that I'm talking about with your own musical career?
Well, the first, yeah, Silence Rendering was the first band that I saw that it started growing. Like, we were just kids at that time, but we did publications and people started to know us and wanted us for gigs. They wanted to book us, and that felt great. Like, we were getting offers from different bars and promoters that, would you guys like to play my event? So that started to feel good. Like, we're doing something here.
Okay.
This is going forward. And I remember a big turning point for me in my musical career was that once after a gig, I think it was with Silent Trinity, that one of the fans came to talk to me after the show, and he said that he had a really rough time in his life, but our gig really cheered him up.
Okay.
So that was like, I felt like I was doing something good. I was cheering people up. I was making people happy. So it gave it a more personal approach,
Okay.
so to speak.
So getting like good feedback and getting to know that you're actually making someone feel better with just your
just
music
playing.
and
Yeah,
playing.
just by playing.
Yeah.
So felt like this is fun. It improves people's lives. So why not? Let's go all the way.
Yeah. So let's go to your current situation. So you play in 2 bands at the moment.
Yeah. Catamenia and Verikalpa.
Yeah.
Verikalpa.
But out of those, you started with Catamenia, right?
Yeah. That was. I've been playing in Catamenia for many years. I think it's 10 years pretty soon, if it's not already been 10 years. Time goes so
let's
fast.
go a little bit through your history in the band. So you said that 10 years, and how's it been?
I mean, it was Catamenia was a really challenging project for me, since I knew Riku Hopeakoski way back. We saw each other in Heavy Mesta. We drank some beer and talked about music, and I was a big fan of Catamenia. And at one point, Catamenia didn't have a keyboardist, and Riku asked me would I be interested in joining the band, but I thought that I didn't have the necessary skills for that, since everything had to be learned by ear. Like,
Okay.
There weren't any notations or stuff like that, so I've never done that before in my life, or I've done very little of that. So it felt like I wasn't good enough, and actually Riku asked me a few times, and the turning point was when my friend Juha-Matti Perttunen, we played in the same band called Dark Round in the highest point of all metal scene back in the day. He joined as a singer in the band, and they were thinking about getting a keyboardist. And Juha-Matti said to me that, are you serious that you don't want to take this opportunity? I mean, this is once in a lifetime opportunity. Just come to the auditions and let's see how it goes. I was like, I had broken up with my girlfriend at the time, so I was like,
I'm open for something new.
Yeah. What the hell? Maybe I'm just too afraid or not confident enough in my own skills. So I actually started to, rehearsing the songs by ear, and it was another time in my life that I might have played like 8 hours a day.
Okay.
So I worked a lot. I worked my ass off for that and the auditions. And the auditions actually went pretty well. and I wasn't the only keyboardist.
Interested. Okay.
Yeah, interested in that. So I felt like, nah, I'm not gonna get this job. I'm not gonna get this job. And I remember one time he then called me and like, yeah, I have some bad news for you. Like, unfortunately, he started like that, and I heard the guys giggling in the back.
Okay.
I was just this. you
Of
fucking,
course,
you
of course.
bastard, you bastard. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. So what? I was good enough. Yeah, you were good enough. No, the others were better and stuff like that. And that went on for a bit, and they just welcome to the band.
Okay, so kind of a ritual for getting into the band.
Yeah,
But-
basically, yeah. And I would have been fooled, but I heard the guys giggling in the back.
Okay. So, you can thank the good microphone on the phone. that you
Yeah,
picked it up.
yeah, absolutely. And of course the beer that the guys had drunk.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on top of that.
So how did that thing proceed after that when you became a part of the band?
Well, it actually started like pretty strongly after that. The guys gave me songs that I had to learn for the live set, since the guys were going on a tour in Germany at the time.
Okay.
But I couldn't make it to that, since the airplane tickets had already been bought, and then there wasn't a chance that I could join them. But the next opportunity that I got was in Belarus. We were playing in Rečica, so that was my first gig with the band, and it was also my first gig outside of Finland.
Okay.
So it was a huge deal at the time. So
Must have felt great and exciting.
yeah, it was crazy, and the culture difference between Finland and Belarus were so huge. I hadn't done that much traveling in my life. And,
Okay.
so when we actually landed in Kiev in Ukraine, and there were there were soldiers with machine guns in there. So I was like, what the hell is this place? This is so damn weird. And we actually traveled with it was a minibus that we traveled to Belarus from Ukraine, and there was a whole hassle in the border there. So shall we say that the local militia gave us a pretty hard time,
Okay. Why are you here?
Yeah, long-haired guys, just, where are the drugs? Where are the drugs? Like, oh no, please, there are no drugs. Just came to play for a gig here. And I was actually sitting on the door part, and the backside of the minivan, and I remember I was just sitting there, shitting myself, like, what the hell is gonna happen? What the hell is gonna happen? One of the militia opened the door, like, slam, and looked at me. It's something Russian. He just yelled at me in Russian. I was like, what the hell is going on? So it was yeah, it was a good wake-up call.
Yeah, and I think it's not the easiest part of the world to actually go and play the first gigs abroad.
Yeah.
Or to actually travel that much. I haven't been there, but I've heard stories and seen travel shows enough to know the culture. But it's different.
I mean, the people were really friendly.
Yeah.
The friendliest people I had ever seen. Like, they were so hospitable and welcoming. And I remember we went to get some beers from the local supermarket, and the guards were so, like, they didn't speak English that well, but they tried. And they were cracking jokes and stuff like that. So
I imagine there must have been cheap alcohol.
Yeah. I remember Bobrov was the drink of choice. It was the cheapest beer money could buy.
Okay.
And I was a student at the time, so I was pretty broke. But, yeah.
So definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How did the actual show go there?
Well, the sound on stage was pretty damn horrible. The actual monitors were so loud that I couldn't hear our drummer playing the snare.
Okay.
So it was really strange that I heard nothing of the drums. So I actually had to turn left to see where we were at in the song, since everything was so loud. And
that's really unusual, because people who actually have been on a stage while someone is playing drums, you can definitely hear them.
Yeah, absolutely. But the stage was pretty big, and since we were the headlining band, it was the last day of the festival. We were the headliners. I think the audio guy was like, "Oh yeah, let's go big or go home. Let's make it loud," and it was another good choice.
Yeah, definitely on stage. Maybe towards the audience, yeah, but you don't want to disturb the musicians too much.
Yeah. It was chaotic, but it was fun. I mean, we went to have a good time, and I mean, the gig was okay. Yeah. It was okay. We managed well.
So, what year was this?
Don't ask me these questions.
Okay, you don't.
I can't remember.
Approximately 10 years ago, or
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Have you been involved in the record making process after that, or how has it been with Catamenia?
In Catamenia, we actually, one of the first things that we did in the band was that we wanted to make a sort of compilation album of old songs. We called it Rewritten Chapters, since the sound had evolved so much and there were different players. So we wanted to, give the fans a bit of a taste of what's it gonna be like. I got pretty free hands.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to make the keyboard arrangements. So it was a cool process. I mean, unfortunately, the timeline was so tight. And we had a really low budget for that, so that it was so unfortunate that happened. But I still, there are a few good songs there that I still listen to. I am proud of that record.
Okay.
Still.
How about we're coming towards today. So how is the current situation with the band?
The band, we're making new songs. So I think now we have 4 totally new songs that we rehearsed, and so they've been composed and they've been arranged. We'll be playing those, and we're waiting for new stuff. Riku is our composer, and I mean, it's moving forward. It's moving forward, but pretty slowly. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
So there's gonna be a new album in the future.
In the future, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There will be one.
Okay.
The new material is sounding so great, and it's like going back to the roots.
Back to the roots.
Yeah, back to the
Sounds
roots.
good.
Yeah.
This is the end of part 1 with Jussi Sauvola from Verikalpa and Catamenia. To hear him talk about his other project, Verikalpa, go check out part 2.